No. Okay. Alright, guys. What's up? Hello. It's me. And my No! Me and my guitar. Uh. Oh man, I'm feeling a little nervous, but that's okay. Today I want to talk about something a little personal. I guess as I usually do. A lot of times. But today I have a guitar with me, and you might be like, what the Mr. Stone, why do you have a guitar with you? And I'll get into that. So basically, yesterday I was playing the guitar, which I actually used to do a lot in the past. A lot. And it had me kind of thinking and kind of like, I guess, resurfacing suppressed desires and yearnings and memories. Because probably, unless you know me in real life, you probably don't know, but I used to be extremely passionate about music. I actually used to really want to be a musician. And at some point, I fell out of that. So I kind of want to talk about that and just kind of process what it might mean for me, because yeah, I mean, yesterday I was playing the guitar and I was actually really enjoying it, and I was remembering, like, man, like, this used to be like everything to me. And I have a lot of music written that I've never truly released. I have it on another channel, actually. But anyways, let me start from the beginning. So I remember I first first started playing guitar in like 7th or 8th grade, I think it was. I had a buddy who had a really like shitty, like beat up like guitar with like high strings and shit. I remember one day I was over at his house just hanging out, and I was like, oh, a guitar, like, could I play it? And I probably like ruined his ears. But I was literally just like plucking strings. Like, I didn't know how to play or anything. It was my first time touching a guitar. But I was just like plucking strings, and it sounded like dog shit. Like just shit like that. But I was like super perplexed and like encapsulated? Captivated. And I remember asking him, like, yo, like, is it cool if I take this home? And I did, and I'd probably get copy strike if I played it, so maybe if I play it as I'm talking. But the first song I learned was Seven Nation Army, this one. Hopefully I didn't get copyright striked. But yeah, I just fell completely in love with it, and I played like all day, every day, like for hours. Like, I would just like learn my favorite songs at the time. One of my favorite bands ever was Queen. That was like the first band I really got into. So I would like learn Queen songs and just like learn riffs and stuff, and of songs that I really enjoyed. And I joined like beginning band. I learned the trombone. I don't think I could really play, but I just kept going. I got like super into it, and I loved it. And I learned and listened to and discovered more and more music. I got better and better. And I was extremely passionate throughout high school. As a matter of fact, through my junior and senior year of high school, I actually like tried to take as much music classes as possible. I think junior year I had like piano and choir. And then senior year I had guitar, jazz band, and choir again, I think. And it's funny because I'm remembering there was a point in my life where, like, when I was selecting classes for high school, for senior year of high school, I felt so like certain of my love and passion for music and really wanting to do it, just go all in, be a musician, that I remember, if you don't know, humble brag, I was valedictorian in my high school, which means I was like the top ranked student by GPA, by grades. And so I had this choice to make, which was, I felt like giving up on being the top student and really like going all in and being like, you know what? Yeah, like I could go that route and focus on my academics and play it safe, but I was like, nah, man, fuck playing it safe. Like, let's fucking go, bro. Music is the way. Music is what I want to do. Like, I'm gonna go for it. I'm gonna trust in myself. And, if you know about my channel, I've been on this journey of healing and rediscovering myself, being authentically myself again. And in high school, around this time was when I was most myself. I was very proud of who I was. I very much respected myself, and I loved who I was. And I loved life. I was like super confident. I was like, man, like, let's go, dude. Like, I got this. I was ready to go all in, man. And my plan was to like only take like one class or two classes I needed to graduate, and the rest would be music. I was thinking of doing like guitar, piano, choir, jazz band. I don't know, probably some other random shit. Maybe trying like normal band or drum class. I don't know. But I was planning on just ditching everything and going all in. And I remember at one point I was visiting Mexico. I was visiting some family, and I was talking about my passion for music and my plan to go all in. And I had an uncle. I have an uncle, and he had good intentions, but his message to me was like, hey man, like, I'm Mexican American. I have a lot of family in Mexico, a lot of cousins and younger people. And he was like, hey man, like, why not just stick to the course, graduate, get your valedictorian. You have a lot of people who look up to you. You have a lot of cousins here who look up to you, and you're like a role model, I guess, for them. Finish out high school, and then, you can look into music later. And I was like, okay, I guess that does sound like a safer play. So I bit my tongue a bit, and I graduated. I got valedictorian. I feel, in my head, I'm feeling like people are judging me, that I'm bragging and arrogant and shit. That's a huge part of my social traumas. But anyways, yeah, I stuck to the course. I didn't deviate. I still took a couple of music classes. It was still a lot of fun. But something happened that ruined my love for music. And I won't get into the full story now, if ever. It's a really juicy story, but it's a bunch of drama. Basically, in the last year of high school, I was in a band. And I was in that band with a few really good friends, including a mutual friend of ours, who was a female. And so, long story short, there was a love triangle situation where one of my best friends started dating this girl who I also had a crush on. We both had a crush on her. And it kind of all blends into everything I've talked about on this channel in terms of like introspection and healthy masculinity and like processing emotions and like having boundaries and all these things. But I didn't know any better at this point, and I didn't know much at all. My way of processing with negative things was to suppress and avoid. So I did. I just bottled things up. Basically, the friendship slowly deteriorated. I felt really uncomfortable around them. I felt really sad. I felt a lot of grief, a lot of hurt. And I didn't really have an outlet. Apart from going to the gym. I started going to the gym soon after. That was really helpful. But for the most part, I just suppressed shit and ended up just ruining the friendship. And it became a whole thing where they broke up. People are going to judge me. And then me and her started, not officially dating, but we started hanging out. And it was just a whole mess. And that's not my focus for today, but the idea is basically that it left a really bad taste in my mouth, and it was very confusing and painful and just a huge mess. And it kind of ruined music for me. Particularly, I realize now, I think what it was that listening to music reminded me of all those memories and all those pains and all those hardships. And I didn't really know how to like process and reconcile all that. I remember going into college. I went to UC Berkeley, not the music school, the regular one. And I took some music courses and I explored some things. I took like an Armenian choir class, which was actually a lot of fun. I took a Japanese like taiko drumming class too, which was also a lot of fun. But I basically fell off course and I lost my spark. I lost my passion for music. Even worse, I almost felt disdain and shame and guilt and displeasure and uncomfortability around music. I couldn't listen to a lot of my favorite songs anymore. I think also my perfectionism fucked me over. You know, part of why my channel was a stepping stone is because I get really easily stuck in my head and paralyzed in my life. And this was a point where I felt very paralyzed. I didn't want to practice anymore. It wasn't enjoyable anymore, but I still forced myself. I still felt the pressure of like, oh, I need to practice like 2 to 3 hours a day. Like, I'm falling behind, blah, blah, blah. And so I basically just burnt myself out and I started to just not enjoy music. And I didn't touch the guitar for such a long time. And when I would, there would be moments where I would, and it would feel nice, but it would still kind of feel tainted. And over time, I kind of just gave up. I put it aside. Every once in a while, I would pick up the guitar and write some songs if I was feeling really in a dark place. And over the years, I've written a lot of music, a lot of which has never seen the light of day. And, you know, I guess that continued for years. Maybe for 5 years or so, just kind of floating adrift, not really pursuing music at all, or even enjoying it. I lost the art of even enjoying it. And I think there's a lot that goes into that. I think part of it was all the pressure. I felt like I couldn't just enjoy it. I wasn't enjoying it. I was like trying to do it as a means to an end, which is like I need to become a musician. I need to pursue my dreams. I need to make it or whatever. I have a mission statement on this channel. If you know it, you can skip, but it's to inspire people to be more curious, connected, and understanding of themselves, each other, and the world around them, so they may live a more healthy, harmonious, authentic, and fulfilling life. Be unafraid to dream and be unrelenting in the pursuit of their dreams. And so I think for that last part, I think I felt a lot of cognitive dissonance where like I had all these dreams. There was a point in my life where I had all these dreams, but I was no longer relentless in pursuing them. I was quite the opposite. I gave up. I felt a lot of displeasure in pursuing it. And I think that's not a bad thing. I think it was healthy to accept that and accept where I was at. But now, as I've done so much like inner work and as I've healed so much and processed so much like trauma and social traumas and untapped emotions and stuff and grief and pain, and you know, I feel like I keep attaining more and more clarity. I'm able to do things just for the sake of doing them, not for like a certain goal. I don't fall for the trap of arrival fallacy. And you know, I've recently just over time, so particularly yesterday, I was really enjoying playing the guitar. And I guess that kind of brings a spike in anxiety and confusion in and of itself, because now it's like, I mean, I have a second channel where I used to do stuff with my music. And even just last year, I think it was, there was a point where, I think it was last year, my goal was to create an album and release an album by the end of the year, and finally release my music in a more professional way. And, you know, I feel like I wasn't really conscious of it, but I think as I sort of fell off, because I got like super passionate and I was working on music like almost every day for the first couple months. And then I think as I started feeling ashamed and guilty and like feeling all the criticism and judgment that I internalized for not like doing enough or not making enough progress, or feeling ashamed and like self-critical when my videos wouldn't do well, when they wouldn't perform well. You know, that was one of the biggest aspects of social traumas that I was processing. Fear of judgment, fear of criticism, fear of failure more than anything. And so I felt like I was failing. And, you know, I feel like I've done so much work on this channel, bit by bit, a stepping stone at a time, to heal and be my most authentic self and not let those fears and those feelings control my actions. I've gotten pretty good at it. And so now I feel like this is the next like boss battle, because I feel like music really is a part of my journey. It's really a part of who I am. And I feel like over the past weeks, I've gotten very consistent at uploading things, and I feel less intense emotions when things don't do well. I feel more self-assurance. I feel more self-trust in the process and in myself, and knowing that even if no one watches, like, it's still helpful to me. It's still meaningful to me, and it's helping me in my goals in alignment with that mission I mentioned. And so now I'm like at this weird point where it's like, all right, well, what do I do now with music? And I don't know. I guess in the past I would fear that, if this channel, like, no one would want to listen to music, or no one would want to hear me play. I had a lot of social traumas when it came to music, feeling like people disliked me or judged me or stuff like that. But yeah, I guess, I don't know, because like I've created so many new dreams over the years, and I guess it's a weird moment where I feel some tension between who I am and who I want to be versus who I was and who I wanted to be. Boom. Sounds kind of profound now that I say it out loud. But yeah, I guess that's like where I'm at right now. I don't know if I am going to process that all right now, but I guess that's kind of all I really had in mind. My dream used to be music, and I guess I don't know if it still is. I feel like if I had a guess as I go along in this journey, I will increasingly get more and more in touch with this side of me again. And, I've done so much different type of content, from travel vlogs to monologues to reflections to food reviews to live streams to exposure therapy. I guess at the end of the day, this channel is whatever I want it to be, and I think that feels very scary. I feel like as we attain success, we feel like we don't want to lose that. We feel like we don't want to lose attraction, or that people will have a certain expectation of what to expect and stuff like that. And I think that's been one of the biggest struggles for me, is that internalized conditioning, worrying about people's expectations and worrying about people not liking the new content I release, or expecting a certain thing or this and that. But at the end of the day, this channel is for me and myself first and foremost, and in alignment with that mission I mentioned. And I guess whatever I choose to do, I'm gonna take it stepping stone at a time, but whatever I choose to do, as long as I focus on my compass, I think I'll turn out just fine. I don't know, we'll see. Kind of crazy. I feel like in 5 years or something, I might look back on this. Maybe I'll be like a professional musician or some shit, and I'll look back on this and be like, man, that was the moment that everything changed. But I also appreciate everyone who's given me feedback, and it's been very affirming, because a lot of people, when I do bring out my guitar, I do play on like a live stream and stuff, a lot of people do really seem to appreciate it. So thanks for those of you who have shared. And I guess with that, that's about it. Maybe I'll play a little tune. That sounds right. That sounds appropriate. I feel like I have the urge to like explain what I'm gonna do, but I'm gonna just see what happens. I'm gonna just shut up and let my fingers do the talking. Okay, never mind. All right. Yeah, I guess, as I play that, I realize, a huge part of my channel is trying to connect people, connect with ourselves, and help others connect. And I feel like music is, the universal language, as they say. So in that sense, it does feel quite fitting to have musical stuff on here too. And music is one of the ways that I really connect with myself. A lot of times I struggle with feeling and being in tune with my emotions, but music in the past was the greatest way for me to feel those deeper pains, those deeper woes. Alright, that was a bit of anxiety spiking there, but that's okay. Feeling like I need to explain my mistakes and cushion the blow of potential criticism, but just gonna notice it, accept it, and sit with it. That's about it, guys. I guess I just wanted to say that out loud and talk about it and acknowledge it, first and foremost for myself, and hopefully it helps someone else out there, because I'm sure it's part of the human experience. So many of us go through the same things, and I think it's a very beautiful thing when we can share honestly and vulnerably, and it resonates, and that's one of the things I love most, and one of my hopes with videos like these. So if anyone watched, thanks. It's a long one. I hope it helps someone out there. That's about it. Peace. Oh, and I had to pull out the Tesseract shirt. Shout out Tesseract. Alright, peace.